All right. Next story. Let me see. All right. Next story. So, do you guys remember when? Let me make sure I'm still recording here. All right. Oh, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Share the video. Please do me a favor. Share the video. Tell your friends. Now, you guys remember Amy Cooper, right? Amy Cooper was the white lady who seen the brother bird watching in New York. She seen the brother bird watching in New York and called the police on him, right? Police came. They realized that she falsely reported a crime or whatever, right? She was arrested. You guys remember? You guys remember that, right? Amy Cooper from New York. The brother was bird watching. She calls the police on the brother who was bird watching, right? So we remember that. So here's why I'm bringing this up, because let me bring the story up. Let me see here. All right. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office on Tuesday dropped the misdemeanor criminal charge against Amy Cooper, the white woman who called the police on a black man in Central Park last May, after she completed education and therapy classes on racial equality. Let me read a little more of this, then I'll get into my opinion on this and how horrible it was. Like, how bad of a precedent is being set by releasing her. Now, do I think the woman should get 20 years in jail for what she did? Not quite, but a class on black people ain't gonna help the issue here, right? Now, I'll get to that in a minute. Now, given the issues at hand and Miss Cooper's lack of criminal background, we offered her, consistent with our position on many misdemeanor cases involving a first arrest, an alternative restorative justice resolution designed not just to punish, but to educate and promote community healing. Now, here's the thing about that situation and why it set such a horrible precedence, right? What should have been done, or I think what still should be done, right? Amy Cooper is just a small piece of a much bigger puzzle. We need to realize, family, how many white women, and this is just real shit, how many white women throughout the history of the United States have caused destruction to our community, just individually, right? Individually. Let me tell you why. I was talking about this a few minutes ago, but if we go back to the Emmett Till case, right? This is a white woman who says we did. This is the same thing, family. This is the same thing. That's a white woman who says someone black did something wrong to her. She's lying. Hell comes to our community, right? Emmett Till end up dying, race war, all type of shit. Throughout history, several race riots, 1919 race riots in Chicago, started in a similar way. A black man gets on an elevator. A white woman on the elevator says he whistled at her. She goes to tell her white counterparts. They come to the black neighborhood, cause a whole bunch of destruction. A whole bunch of people die. Businesses get lost. Houses get lost. A lot of destruction, right? But I can tell you at least 6, 7, 8, 9 different instances throughout history where a single white woman made an unsubstantial claim about something a black man did, and hell broke loose because of it. It happens time and time again. So this ain't about Amy Cooper, family. This is about the much bigger issue of how white women are able to criminalize us with no proof, with no proof of involvement, no nothing. It always happens. So what needs to happen is some type of law needs to be put in place where, because again, she was released, they let her do some type of racialized training. I don't know how effective some shit like that can be, right? If you don't like black folks, it may be difficult for me to show you a couple pamphlets on why you shouldn't, and you change your frame of reference. That could be difficult, you know what I mean? But laws need to be put in place. I think they were mentioning something in New York about how they're going to try to get a law in place, but there need to be a law in place that basically says if you lie, it needs to be mandatory jail time. 3 months, 6 months with no record? Because they're saying they gave her a misdemeanor and they gave her the ability to take these classes because she didn't have a record. And that's the law to a degree. But fuck that, man. What if police would have showed up at that park and this black man, because the brother that she called the cops on, he was really cooperative. Like, really cooperative, almost to a fault. Like, he didn't even want to press charges against her, right? What if the cops would have showed up and the black man there was a black man who was empowered, right? A black man who didn't take no shit, right? And I don't mean be nasty to a cop or want to fight him or hit him, but just stand your ground, right? It's a possibility he could have lost his life. So what would we have done in that instance where this brother is just taking pictures of birds? She has the ability to call the cops on him, and now his life's taken, right? So we need to look at the bigger picture here. We lucky that brother didn't die, right? So again, should Amy Cooper spend hella years in jail over this? I'm not sure if we should go that far, but she shouldn't get let off with just like community service. We need to make an example out of somebody the same way they do us. You know how many of my brother's friends in the late 90s, in the early 90s, when all of these 3 strikes laws was popping off, do you know how many young brothers they used to make an example out of? Like, I'm going to give your ass 25 years just so everybody around you know we not fucking around. Do you know how much that actually took place? You see what I'm saying? The same shit should happen to everybody, right? White women calling the police on unassuming black people can cost you your life. Do we realize that's the biggest problem with doing that? Not the fact that he can get a record or the cop will come out and harass him or just the whole bothersome part of it. No, the biggest part of it, if it's a certain type of black man, when the cops show up, they can kill his ass. You see what I'm saying? So something different should have happened in this situation, family. I'm not sure if legislation is in the process of being passed or whatever the case may be, but her just getting a slap on the wrist sets a horrible precedent, just like I said, because any other white Amy Cooper who wants to report some type of fake crime just to get somebody black in trouble, they'll be able to do it too. And what's really going on here is they're weaponizing 911. They're weaponizing the police here in this country against us because they know if I call the police on this nigga, anything can happen. They not calling the police thinking they finna come and take them to jail or thinking they finna come and rectify the situation, because in most cases, there ain't really a situation to begin with. You see what I'm saying? So they're calling the police on us knowing that if the cops come, it's a slight chance that we're going to get our brains blown out. And that's kind of, in my opinion, that's what they're banking on. You know what I mean? So we got to do better. The law in this country, as we know already, but the law in this country have to do better. We're talking all this racial harmony shit that's been floating in the air all, the past couple years. Let's put people in jail, family. Let the law work for everybody, right?